What's going on, everybody? Mark45 from Mark45 Studios here. What you're staring at is a little weird package. And in that package contains another figure that we have not looked at yet. As you know, the Playmates Godzilla vs. Kong figures we've been doing it since March, and I thought it was it. But there is one Playmates figure that hasn't released yet until recently, and all the figures should be available on Amazon on June 30th, so be on the lookout for that. But today, you've read the title and thumbnail of the video. We're looking at what I haven't covered yet for the Playmates figures, because I believe this is the last one, unless Playmates decides to make more Godzilla vs. Kong figures. But other than that, this should be the last one, because this was said as coming soon on the Playmates website for quite a long time. So it's about time I finally got this. And if you're wondering how did I get this, well, my contract with Warner Bros. Ended at the time of recording this video, but some agent at the company was still kind enough to send me this, just cause this figure just came out like pretty much recently. Little envelope bag thing. I can pull it out. There we go. So again, I would say this is sponsored, even though my contract has ended. There we go. Alright, here it is, the Playmates Supercharged Godzilla. Yes, it is a 6-inch figure for 2021. Not quite sure if this is out publicly yet, because then again, I did get mine from a sponsor from the agency, so shout out to you guys. But yeah, Supercharged Godzilla. Not gonna lie, it's just kind of a recreation of the Battle Roar Godzilla. Kind of in the same position and everything, but I guess it's like a cheaper option. The fact that he's, you know, a 6-inch, doesn't have batteries and all that. So, Monster First Supercharged Godzilla with fighter jet, Toho Legendary Playmates at the bottom. 4+, you get the battle damage reveal right there. You got the figure tied up pretty neatly, got the tail disassembled obviously. You've got the little battle damage piece, the fighter jet, seems to be the only accessory included. And of course the Godzilla and Kong on top like that. I know the movie is very old at this point, but you can never appreciate enough of just how organized they've kept these kind of packagings, you know, leaving the figure out and exposed like that. I've stated that in the other reviews before. So, that's pretty special. Blockbuster movie, Godzilla vs. Kong. Yes, it is very much a blockbuster, made a lot of money, I believe. It was a very successful movie. Here's the back. You got the Legends Collide, blah blah blah, that shenanigans, you've seen that before. And then Supercharged Godzilla fighter jet. Harness the awesome power of Godzilla's thunderous roar and devastating tail swipe as the king of the monsters battles Kong to settle an ancient rivalry. I believe that is not new. I think that was from the other figures, if I could recall. And then of course, here are all the other figures, which we've all covered. Thank God we've covered them all here, so you can go check them out at your own expense. And other than that, anything else for this box? Oh, tail assembly at the bottom, barcode at the bottom, all that snazziness. So, with that being said, let's crack this baby open, take this Godzilla right out, and see what makes it different from the Battle Roar Godzilla. Alright, ladies and gents, I've taken the figure out of the packaging, and just to show you the components that make up this figure. Here's the main figure. I put the battle damage thing on already. It's if you're wondering what it looks like, it's just pretty much, I've shown you once in all the other 6-inch figures. It looks the same in all of them, so expect something similar from this one. This one's battle damage is pretty much the same as the other 6-inch Godzilla, so nothing really special. And then I will say the tail is much smaller than anticipated. But what do I mean by that? I'll pull out the other Godzillas in a bit, but this tail is just, for some reason, I think Playmates kind of shortened it. Kind of curious to why, but I don't know. Well, we shall see. And of course, you've got the fighter jet itself. No, I think maybe a slightly different mold than the one of Kong, but it is a soft plastic, as you can see, just like the other vehicles we've gotten. But to be honest, nothing quite special. I don't really see any significance with these kind of vehicles, so they won't. I'm just gonna say that these, it's a nice addition. Oh, and I dropped it. It's a nice addition, but I don't see it being used a lot by kids when they pick up these figures. They're gonna want to play the monsters, not these little vehicles. So, with that being said, I'm now gonna attach that tail to the figure, and then we'll take a look at the figure. And here we have the figure all fully assembled. Fun fact, actually, this figure wasn't always called Supercharged Godzilla. In fact, the original name for this guy was called Godzilla Extreme. Now that sounded a bit odd, so I'm kind of glad they changed and went with Supercharged Godzilla. But in case you don't know what I mean, here is the box of Hong Kong Battle Godzilla. And then at the back, it says right here, Godzilla Extreme with fighter jet, which is now called Supercharged Godzilla with fighter jet. So it's the same one. They kind of switched up the name. Kind of glad they did, because Godzilla Extreme sounds not cool in my opinion. Kind of think Supercharged Godzilla sounds better. This figure was definitely unexpected, but it was a welcoming one. Personally, like I said, I wasn't really too excited for this. This didn't really hype me up when I saw the leaks of it. But it was nice seeing Playmates just throw in one more figure. Assuming at this point Playmates has officially stopped producing Godzilla vs. Kong figures. So this is a nice, I guess, additional one. He is 6 inches. He is a 6-inch figure. And in case you can't help but notice, but yeah, it's the same mold as this guy. Mega, or not Mega, but like the Godzilla Heat Ray. It's also 6 inches, and the mold is pretty much the same. The printing is pretty much the same. Here we have them side by side, as you can see. The tail, of course, like I said, this Godzilla's tail is a lot shorter. And you can see the different lengths of the tail. I don't know why the tail is much shorter, but oh well. The dorsal fins pretty much the same color, also black, consistent color scheme. Soft plastic on the dorsal fins, so that's expected. Pretty much the only thing different is that this doesn't have a heat ray. And then this is in like a completely different pose, like a super roaring battle roar style thing. I mean, this is basically a cheaper version of the battle roar Godzilla, so don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what the whole intention was. So that's, and oh yeah, and let's not mention the battle damage feature is pretty much the same as both of these guys. So there you go. So yeah, they are both 6 inches. And he's just another variant of the Heat Ray dude. Now, like I said, he is kind of in the same position as Battle Roar. So here is the Battle Roar. As you can see, the position they're in is pretty much the same. Battle Roar obviously is 7 inches, so it's obviously slightly bigger, and the printing is a little different on the dorsal fins and everything. Tail is massive on him, but tail is pretty tiny on Supercharged boy here. So yeah. Obviously that comes in value as well. The Battle Roar Godzilla is obviously a lot more expensive, and then this guy is, I believe, on the 12 Canadian dollar price. So there's that. So that's all the Playmates figures I pulled out for the comparison. Didn't really pull out a Kong, but yeah. Anyways, so the printing same as Heat Ray Godzilla, as you can see, black, blue. Nothing much, but of course articulation wise the feet are kind of limited because, well, he's kind of like in a more upright position, so the feet are kind of limited. You can't really move I mean, you couldn't always move the knees anyway, so you can move the legs, you can kind of move it forward, kind of makes it look like he's like charging forward or something, or just leaning very forward. I don't know, something like that. It's doable. The legs have given you the option to do that, so you can actually pose it so he can be like that. Although it looks kind of interesting, but it's still something that you can pull off as him. Normally, the standard position would be, because this feet, the leg is more back, so you position this behind, and you put his right leg more to the front. So that way you get the Battle Roar pose. The tail obviously was on a ball socket, as you can see. And to attach the tail, yeah, I had to use a blow dryer because plastic was hard, so I had to soften up the plastic. But yes, there you go. The tail was on a ball socket, but as I mentioned earlier, the tail is quite short, which is quite a surprise. So yeah, pretty short tail, but at the end it's like a softer plastic. Makes sense for safety's sake. Dorsal fins is pretty much the same. It's the soft plastic kind you expect out of this cheap toy. So I mean, this is a toy. This isn't like an SH Monster Arts quality like figure. So it's supposed to be like that. And then of course the head. It's in an upright position, you know, to make that battle roar. Can't really close his jaw. It kind of stays open like that. So I don't mind the position it's in, but I just feel like it could have been better. As for the arms, there you go, it's your standard articulation for your arms. And of course, even though he's in his, I guess, what you call it, supercharged stage, just like the battle roar, you can recreate him swimming in the water because he's actually in a perfect position to do that. His head's looking up, whereas, you know, the other one he'll be looking down. So you can just fold up the legs and pretend he's in his water, in the ocean, just swimming. This actually looks pretty decent. The fact that his head is all the way up, so when you tilt him forward like this, kind of just looks like he's just swimming. And that's exactly good. You know, you can recreate him in his turf, in his territory, or you can like fold the tail down a little bit. There you go. Now it looks like he's just chilling in the water. You can have his dorsal fins just stick out to recreate some scenes. You know, just those iconic scenes where he's swimming in the water and you can just see his dorsal fins coming out. So that's pretty cool. So that's why I do appreciate this figure as well as the Battle Roar Godzilla. That's because for that reason you can recreate his swimming habits. You know, because he is I guess a marine-like creature. Because you know he can survive in water and on land. So yeah, honestly, my favorite position to put him in like this is just this leaning forward a little bit, although it's not the most sturdiest, as you can see. There you go. At least he has some position, but I think we're just gonna leave it at the standard default position like this. So yeah, so again, Supercharged Godzilla. This is of course a Playmates toy, so it's meant to be for kids to pick up and to play with. So I can't have the SH Monster Arts or NECA figure expectations for these kind of figures. And yeah, I will say this is definitely not my favorite for sure, but it ain't bad. I just see this as another copy of Heat Ray Man here, but I do think it gives more variety because, well, as you can see, he's in different pose. So good for stop motion. If you're gonna do stop motion things, then this would be perfect, given that he's basically following the same color scheme. It'd be pretty easy to put him in different positions. Fighter jet, like I said, is just completely unnecessary. I think it's gonna get lost. Anyone who's gonna get this toy, get this figure, is just not gonna care a single bit about the fighter jet and just want the monster itself. So I find it a bit unnecessary, but you know, it's fine. It's just an additional thing because there wasn't much for this figure anyways. So adds to the value a little bit. And of course this value is, I believe, 12 to 13 Canadian dollars. So I do think it is worth it. You know, it's a cheap toy. It's affordable. A kid can have lots of fun playing with it. And I've said that for all the other Playmates figures. Just treat these as toys, not collector's items. If you're a hardcore Godzilla fan, definitely don't miss out on him. Don't miss on this one. But I'm pretty sure you can live without this one, given that it doesn't have that much of a significance. So I'm pretty sure you can survive without this figure if you really can't, like if you can't afford everything. So my final score for this guy would be a 7 out of 10. Just that I feel like the head could do a little bit of improvement, and that tail, kind of appreciated being short, but it lacks the color scheme for sure. The blue just kind of, it had a little bit of fade, but it just kind of cut off right there. So that being said, that might be it for all the Playmates figures. We don't know. We don't know if Playmates will continue to manufacture more figures. Yeah, so that's it for this one. If you want to see the other Playmate videos, all in the playlist, go check that out. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And that's it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you again in the next one. Bye for now.